Man, you know, speaking of this, right? You just did Vlad, right? Vlad and Boosie. It's been. I feel like the internet made them turn on each other. But what is your take from the Vlad and Boosie thing? There's two sides to the story, right? You got Vlad's side where you feel like you're paying somebody what they're worth and more than what they're worth, right? Because you're not netting the return back like you really should be, but you're doing it just off the strength. You got Boosie, who is a legend, who doesn't really need to do interviews, who's saying, hey, my price is my price, and I'm making you rich. I'm not really, you know what I mean? Where do you stand on that?
Listen, Boosie asked for a $5,000 bump in his overall pay for what he was getting. That would have put him at $30,000. He's already getting $25,000 per interview. Yeah. Boosie is not getting $25,000 for a show. You're getting $25,000 to have a seat in a chair for no more than 2 hours and having a conversation. And then it is an exchange. It is not just you turning Vlad up, because Vlad was gonna be Vlad whether Boosie was there or not. Vlad he's a content creator builder. He's a personality builder. Long before Boosie, there was somebody else who was occupying that space. Right. So they helped each other. So it was not just a singular thing where Boosie was just helping Vlad. Vlad is Vlad, and Vlad was Vlad before he ever interviewed Boosie to begin with. And then you have to understand what's going on with Boosie. Boosie is in the twilight of his career. More people, more YNs know Boosie for his interviews with Vlad. They do him for music. Boosie ain't had a hit record how long, right? So being on Vlad, it kept Boosie current and kept him relevant. You can't discount that. You can't take that away from the equation. You got to put it all together in one package. Once he made a request, or he requested to get a bump in his pay. Yeah. Once Vlad showed him the numbers, and he showed him that one, you're not doing as good as you were doing a couple of years ago. That's number one. And number two, I'm going to open up my books to you. Right. I'm gonna let you see what I'm making. Right. I'm basically doing the interview for free, because what I'm making versus what I'm paying you versus production costs and editing costs, I'm walking away with almost nothing. You're walking away with more than me. So it's not like I have a major profit going on here.
Yeah, I feel like in the game, Vlad is the one that I feel like fucked the game up a little bit, because he was the first one. He was the first one to kind of put the prices out there, and then I noticed since then you'll have people coming with just outrageous, like they prices don't even make sense. They don't make sense. But they don't understand the YouTube game. They just, nigga, I'm me, and I want to. And it's like,
let me tell you what happened. Yeah, this is what happened. What happened is that the rappers, right? They've been forced to come to the understanding that they are not the kings of the hill in terms of urban entertainment no more. Right? So you got the podcasters and all the other content creators putting it in their face. We the kings of the hill. The YouTubers, the bloggers, overall the streamers are doing better, making more money. So what's happening now is that the rappers, especially the rappers in the twilight of their career, they're mad, angry, and upset that they're not being looked at like they used to be looked at. The streamers overtook them shits. For the first time in the history of just black entertainment, you have kids, you have preteen adolescents who are saying they would prefer to be a YouTuber, a podcaster, a streamer over a rapper. So the rappers salty about that shit. So the rappers looking at all the money the streamers and podcasters are making, they don't like that shit. So they want to be overcompensated for whatever their contribution is. That's what's going on. They mad, angry, upset because the podcasters and streamers kicking their motherfucking backsides in. That's why they mad.
But you know what? If you just look at it from a standpoint of when you look into an album, what you might get an hour out of an album, nigga. We doing an hour every day. Yeah, you niggas is dropping hours of content, 3-4 hours of content a day. So of course you're gonna make more money. It's just you're putting in more work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I feel like
Boosie was a fool. But because this whole thing started, it didn't start because he was just disgruntled or he was unhappy with his pay. Right. It all started because of the whole 6ix9ine thing. When he heard that 6ix9ine received $50,000 for that interview, what he said to himself is, oh, this nigga a rat. How in the fuck you gonna pay a rat? And who's a Mexican on top of that? More than you paying me, and I'm a legendary figure. I'm a legendary hip hop icon. That's what drove him to trying to have that conversation, trying to renegotiate his pay.
But that brings me to the topic of pocket watching in general, right? Because that happens across the board. It ain't even. I had somebody I talked to the other day. He was telling me how he felt some type of way about the dude that was paying him because he seen him do some extravagant shit.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I was like, bro, you can't really look at it like that because
can't measure
business
your
is
worth.
business and personal is personal. Like, you know, but how do you look at it? Because if you were in that same position and you being in the streets, right? Because I mean, we could say Boosie ain't in the streets no more, but you a street dude, and you've seen a rat get interviewed for twice as much as you get paid. Would you not feel some type of way?
No, I'm gonna tell you something, Jeff. First of all, listen. So Boosie is not just anybody. He's a person who's been operating in the world of entertainment for over 20 years.
Facts.
So he should have been able to, once it was explained to him, the nuance, so that there are nuances and it's like peripheral shit you have to take into consideration when you look at what 6ix9ine get paid. That's not what he get paid every interview. That's what he got paid because of the situation he was in.
Right.
He had just came home. He's getting ready to go back and sit down. He had never really talked about all the things that had happened with him in an interview style platform before. So it was a one-off. So he got $50,000 because that's what the interview demanded at that particular point in time. That was not what his every interview paid. That was not what his standard pay was going to be.
Right.
So he should have took that into consideration. And then Vlad explained all that to him. And then Vlad opened up his books to him. And Vlad went above and beyond to try to bring about some type of understanding or to reach some understanding with Boosie. He showed him the numbers. He showed him what he was making off his videos. Right? He showed him what it was. So he was pocket watching, as simple as that. He was just mad because he felt like that 6ix9ine is a snitch and 6ix9ine shouldn't get paid more than him. He felt like his net worth, he felt like his net value to the overall equation was higher than 6ix9ine, and it wasn't. And he's now learning that lesson because right now he said he can do it by himself. The numbers are abysmal. So he overestimated his value.
Right.
This is a prime example of a motherfucker pocket watching and overestimating their worth and value to a particular situation.
Right.
It'd be like me arguing with you about when I'm getting paid for Reallyfe Street Stars.
Right.
And you open up your books and I can lightweight almost see the books because I broadcast my podcast for Reallyfe Street Stars. So I can lightweight see what it is. When you know what a view pays out, and you understand what the YouTube scale is, right? Even when you factor in AdSense and ad dollars and all that other kind of shit, when you look at it, you know what your worth is based on the numbers that you do on a particular platform.
Right.
So once Vlad showed him his numbers, the raw data, right? He still didn't acquiesce to it. He still didn't back down because he was in his motherfucking feelings because that's how you know he was pocket watching.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, I'm not getting what I'm worth.
Right.
He showed you what your worth was in raw numbers. So it wasn't about that because even after he did that, you still was doubling down on you wanting to get paid more because I got to get at least half of what he got.
I feel like we got to see them back together though. I can't tell what shit is a play no more because knowing how savvy people are on the internet, I don't even know when shit is a play no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like,
nowadays.
Is this a play or is
like
it?
That. Listen, it's so much. Listen, I could have been a lot further in my career as an influencer, as a person who gets interviewed for his opinion about anything.
Right.
I could have been a lot further. There is absolutely people running plays on the YouTube streets.
Absolutely.
There are people who faking arguments, faking beefs, faking fights, faking fallouts. Right, that absolutely happens every day. This shit is really like a WWE.
It is.
I can be a lot further than in my career if I was the type of person who was engaged in that kind of WWE shit. But the way my personality works and the way my brand is set up, I don't gotta do that shit. It may take me a little longer than the people who are all huddled up in the back rooms doing that shit. But there's a room for real niggas who spit real game in the industry, minus all the tricks, minus all the motherfucking tricks, I'm gonna get to no matter what.
Man, I want to talk about speaking of Vlad, right? Because it's funny because we just had Charleston on Vlad, and I remember he actually called out. He said that one of the reasons why he didn't go on was somebody told him that like Vlad is a culture vulture.
I got you. First of all, there is the king of this shit is Smackwater. Long before there was anybody else operating in this space, long before there was anybody popping their shit on a high level, I ain't just talking about motherfuckers just picking up a phone and talking into it and just saying any dumbass shit. I'm talking about motherfucker breaking shit down. Man, Charleston White is, when you look at how he operates and when you look at the kind of shit he do, he's the king of the motherfucking circus in terms of YouTube and the YouTube streets goes. He's turned this shit into something that it wasn't supposed to be. I can't knock him for taking advantage of the position that he has and that he operates in, and the space that he operates in now. I can't take him. I can't knock him for it. But he's actually turned himself into the worst thing that we've seen.
Why do you say that?
Media space, because ain't nothing about that nigga genuine, right? He uses words, he weaponizes words, and he just uses words like he readily admitted that, hey, listen, I'll say almost anything to go viral.
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
It ain't real life. Just say real life street stars. Know what time